Beware of the collapse of the British pound. That's the title of this video. And the reason why I selected this title is because the British pound really has some problems. I'm not saying that it will collapse. I'm not saying that the British pound is doomed. I think it's far from it. But there's an outside chance that if the current chaos continues well over to 2023, we're looking at pretty dire situation economically, and the British pound, I fear for it to some extent. I think that it will continue to drop, and I'm going to analyze why it will continue to drop, at least in the short to mid term. So the British pound, as of the 22nd of October, I think it's sitting at 1 GBP to, I think, 1.12 US dollars, around that mark. It's dropped to 1.03 before in early October when during the fiasco of the Liz Truss's mini budget. It fell to 1.03. It bounced around 10%, but the economic conditions haven't changed. I personally don't hate Boris. I don't dislike this guy. He's got some moral issues that he has to sort out, but his comeback has already spooked markets, and the British pound dropped 1% already upon the news of him potentially coming back. So that's quite a worry, because if he does become PM, how much further the pound will drop. I personally think that it's already a done deal that the pound will drop to parity against the US dollar at some point in the future, because there's simply no way that the British economy can turn around in the short term. So that's one factor why the British pound will weaken, because of Boris Johnson's comeback in the short term. The second reason is because the American economy isn't that strong, but every time there's an economic recession or when there's volatility, money goes back to the US. And I don't see this trend U-turning anytime soon. More and more money is pouring to the US, especially to its treasury markets, because it's always been seen as a safe haven. And UK treasury markets, the yield's gone up again, which is quite worrying, because regardless of how good or bad the US economy is, there are some structural issues with the UK economy. Like, it's too overly reliant on the property sector. If mortgages just rise £100, £200, a lot of people would already be screaming for help, which is disastrous for the economy and politically and mentally for the UK people. It'll be a really turbulent period. But if mortgage payments just rise a further, a few £100s, a lot of people would be struggling to meet ends meet, and it's hard not to see why the interest rates will not keep rising. Last time when the US Federal Reserve met, the US increased 75 basis points in terms of its interest rates, and the Bank of England only increased 50 basis points, and that's not enough. That creates an even larger difference in between the interest rates in the UK and the US, and therefore more money will just pour into the US. So in order for the UK economy to get back on its track, the UK just has to be more attractive as a whole to outside investors. And if interest rates continue to widen between the US and the UK, more and more money is just going to pour into the US. So it's a quandary now. If the Bank of England rises rates, what will it do to the mortgage rates and to the property sector and to the UK economy as a whole? But if it doesn't rise, if the interest rates don't increase, money's still gonna keep moving out of the UK. So it's like a lose-lose situation here, and I really can't see the pound not drop further. So I'm just here to, I'm quite a positive person, but I also like to be realistic, and I think the UK people need to realize that the pound might keep dropping, costs will keep increasing regardless of who's in government. Sometimes we put false hope into politicians. We put false hope into humanity. I don't think it will change anything, even if Labour comes into power. The only thing ordinary Brits can do is to just be more positive, keep track of their finances a bit more closely, work a bit harder, produce more, try and put away some money for emergency use, because the economy is just going to get worse, So good luck to you all, and I'll see you in the next video.